Okay, everybody, I'm here with Minerva today with Numero Insurance. I stopped by to have a conversation with her to get some more insight on what's going on in the insurance industry as a whole and get her expertise on what you as a homeowner can do to better your life in your insurance. So, Minerva, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, Marcus. Thank you for having me. I love talking about insurance.
Yes,
you already know that. So anything that I can do to just share information, I love to do that. So let's get into it.
Let's get
Talk
into
to
it.
me.
Well,
pick my brain.
One of the first things that I wanted to ask you, because as you know, we're in construction, roofing, and I see a lot of homeowners that are paying quite a bit for their insurance. I see a lot of homeowners that are frustrated when it comes to insurance.
Yes.
A lot of homeowners that, blame the roofing company. They complain about the rates. They complain about, what's going on in the insurance industry. They can't get insurance. They're getting force-placed insurance. I want to talk to you a little bit about that in the industry as a whole, where insurance is going and what you would recommend homeowners do to be in the best position possible.
Well, you are correct. Many homeowners are upset right now. We hear all about it on the news all the time. We've had companies that have left the state over the last couple of years that have not helped. There's not enough competition for rates right now. So it's one of those things, if there's only a few companies that are available, then naturally it's going to drive cost, right? Plus there was lots of losses in the last few years outside of just a normal catastrophe or a normal hurricane, right? So companies are needing to recover for those things that have happened. And they're wanting to be more precautious as well. Yeah. So a lot of the things that are causing frustration, not just the rate, but even for us as agents, is the underwriting, right? When they're sending inspectors and now they're being even more meticulous and more picky than they ever were before. They want, no limbs touching the roof line. They want everything removed. They're trying to just make sure that the policies that they are writing are good policies, right? That they are a good risk for the insurance company. And they also wanting it to be a good risk for the insurance owner, the homeowner themselves as well too, and making sure that they're taking the time to point out the things that need to be addressed, right? So one of the main things, as you know, is the roof. One of the most common reports for a claim or a loss, right? And it's one of the most expensive as well. There's a leak inside of a home and there's some furniture that got messed up and maybe some flooring, some baseboards, some drywall that needs to be done. It is not at the equivalent of replacing an entire roof, So they're pointing those things out. Look, there's shingles missing. We don't want it to be repaired. This is something that needs to be replaced. So as much as homeowners may feel like, they're picking on us, right? Or there's nothing wrong with my roof. At the moment that something is wrong, they're going to want the insurance company to handle it. So the insurance companies are just taking a little bit more precaution and saying, look, in the past, we probably weren't paying as much attention to the conditions of a home, but now we need to. We need to make homeowners a little bit more aware, bring things to their attention before obviously it's being brought to their attention and now they have to resolve it, they have to replace it. So there's just frustration on all angles, not just homeowners, but insurance companies, insurance agents. We're trying to meet all the demands, right? From our point of view is the constant having to reshop policies because rates are so wild, right? We love to do those things, but sometimes we're in positions where we're trying to get the consumer, the homeowner, to understand, right, that this is what we do, right? So we could see rates, we know what a good rate is, and we have to say it a lot of times to the client, look, we know this is not the rate that you were wanting, but this is the best rate given the circumstances, given the age of your home, the distance to water, right? The ocean, the beach, considering the age of maybe your HVAC, your water heater, what type of dog you have. Oh, you want to have a trampoline, but you don't want to remove it. There's so many factors that go into it. The frustration is on all levels. What I can tell homeowners now is that we are coming to a better place, okay? So there is a light at the end of the tunnel, okay? More markets are starting to reopen. So there was many markets that there were a few that left the entire state altogether, right? They're just not available in the state of Florida anymore, or they just don't exist anymore, okay? But then we have companies that are still in the state of Florida, but just not writing new business. So that is what we're starting to see now. A few companies kind of open up to certain counties, certain areas, and we're hopeful. Last year was like a whirlwind, and then coming into January of this year, there was just a few movements, some updates. We started to see some of our reps come back out again, which is always a good sign for us because that means there's information to share. And typically they're coming to share good news. Right? There's new markets too that we need to be aware of. And I'm gonna come to that. You know, what are those things that they need to be paying attention for? We are very, very hopeful coming into the second, third and fourth quarter of this year with some of the companies that are opening up that have been around for a long time.
Now, you mentioned some of these policies that are, you know, higher. Before we started the interview, I showed you a policy that was about $8,600 for the premium, and the home. I mean, we saw the home. It was dwelling coverage for about $200,000. But to me, that type of rate is outrageous. What can homeowners do? And this particular homeowner wasn't even aware that his rate was so extremely high. What can homeowners do to try to
stay ahead of it, right? We could just say, pay attention, be alert, right? So I know we were talking about it off camera earlier. And the biggest thing is, I think, especially when homeowners are dependent on their mortgage companies to escrow the amount of taxes and insurance that they're gonna handle it, or maybe they're under the assumption that the mortgage company is reviewing these policies, or maybe gonna give them a call or send them an email to let them know that, look, your policy last year was $3,700 and this year all of a sudden it went up to $8,600. Maybe you want to cut. That truly does not happen. And you have to be able to pay attention now more than ever, you know. So in the past, rates went up at a very, very small percentage, you know, 5%, 6%. And we would look at those things and be like, okay, this is normal. This is a normal rate of increase. And now we're seeing 50%, 100%. I mean, it's really wild. And I explained, the mortgage companies are not responsible to know why your insurance went up, or are you aware, did you know? They're gonna pay that bill. You know, when that bill shows up to that mortgage company, they're paying it. And in most cases, when there's a big increase, your escrow is not set up for it. So your escrow is gonna be in the negative, causing your mortgage payment to go up, you know? And it's a lot of headache on everybody's part to correct it, right?
So give me a worst case scenario. Let's say, for instance, that particular client that I was just talking about, let's say that their rate obviously went up quite a bit. What if they don't have the money to pay that? The mortgage
It starts way before that, right? Because when I looked at that policy, I could see right away that there would be other options, okay? So an insurance agent, we know, just starting off with the companies, right away, it's usually the first question that we ask when someone wants us to review. Who are you currently insured with? Because that tells a lot of the story, right? Some companies are just known for just having much higher rates because they're either trying to balance out their portfolio or they're trying to balance out their risk levels. So they are in a mode of, hey, if you still want to be insured by our company, this is going to be the rate now. Right?
Can you tell us who those companies are? Are you allowed to be that?
So we're an independent agency. So the reason we don't do that is because, number one, these types of conversations are not well dated, right? So companies that I may list today might not be the same companies next month or next year. And it's not fair because they are all in the same boat at different periods, right? So many years ago, I would be able to just confident be like, oh, we love this company. They do amazing job, customer service, they handle claims. And then something comes and happens, you know, and then all of a sudden they make us look back, you know, and then the company that we weren't like probably one of the favorites actually comes out on top and actually does do a great job. So we just kind of take it one day at a time and we kind of assess it with information that we have gathered over time, right? So that's one of the main reasons why I particularly don't like to, because different companies are also good for different houses, right?
Yeah.
So where a company like Security First might not be good for a policy that we saw, it might be great for your house. Okay. Depending on where your house is and how new your house is, or the age of your roof. So there's so many factors on who is the right insurance company for the right home, giving not just the home, claim history, Many of these companies do soft credit pools, that can affect rates as well. So there's lots and lots and lots of factors. Just stay paying attention. Pay attention to your mail. Pay attention to your emails now more than ever. And I'm gonna tell you, as an agency owner myself, and an agent and a producer and all of those things, it's gonna take a community effort to really get ahead of this. That means don't expect your mortgage company to be paying attention. That is not their job. Their job is to make sure that if insurance bill comes, that it gets paid, so that your home is not without insurance. The agency's job is to try to do our best to present and stay ahead of it ourselves, but it is near impossible now to do that job to the 100% of our ability, because there's so many. Okay. It's so many houses now, so many policies that need that one-on-one attention. So the more a homeowner is paying attention and making that phone call, like, look, Minerva, what's going on, right? You're just naturally gonna become the priority. I mean, it is what it is, right? You could either wait for us to see you on a list, or you could just do your due diligence to say, look, I got my renewal, what the heck? Yeah. And we have no problems with that. And we now just kind of put that person as a priority, say, look, they're paying attention and they want answers. That's our job. Go find the answers, explain to them what's happening, and a solution. That situation is unfortunate because it was a smaller home. Mm-hmm. It had a great shape roof. So that house had a hip roof, like I was telling you. Many insurance companies give significant a discount for that shape of roof. And I could see right away, like, that policy was not taking advantage of any of those things. Yeah. That in particular one just really needed to call that agent out and say, look, I don't know if you're paying attention or not, but this is unacceptable. Like, we need to figure something out. What do I need to do? And that would have given an agent an opportunity to say, look, the roof hasn't been updated, or I see that you got a new roof, but we need to do a WINMIT to make sure that we add these credits so that this premium can go down. Or your home now is a great fit for X company, but we need maybe new inspections, or we need to go and pull the permit numbers to be able to prove to the insurance company that your roof has been replaced. So at the end of the day, you gotta be on top of it, because if not, it's just a domino effect.
Can you explain to the audience what the wind mitigation is?
Yes. So there's two inspections actually that insurance companies are looking for. They're looking for one called a wind mitigation, and then they're also looking for one that is called 4 points. With the wind mitigation, okay, when we're talking about maybe a renewal and a home now has just recently replaced their roof, depending on the company, sometimes we don't really necessarily need to get a new WINMIT. We can just bring it to their attention that there is a new roof, and then provide the proof that they want, whether it's permits or, paid receipts and pictures, and that might be sufficient. Sometimes they want an actual licensed inspector to go out, look at the roof, take pictures, go into the attic, take pictures of the attachment, like how the spacing of the nails, the size of the nails. They want a lot more information, and we love it. We truly love it. And most of the time, a WINMIT is like $100 or $50, or I think it's like $150 to maybe $200 for both of them combined. But what we're able to save a client just by having those things up to date is well worth it. But that's what a WINMIT is. If the home has clips instead of like single wrap, it's gonna get a bigger discount, right? Then if it had toenails, that's not gonna give them a discount, but they'll still get some type of improvement on their premium if the roof itself is also just brand new. So there's a lot of things that we can do with a policy with the WINMIT. Now, we always have to explain both. Like, if most houses are like over, I think it's 30 years or older, the insurance companies require a 4 point, which does 4 points, which is the HVAC, electrical, plumbing, water heater. I feel like I'm missing something. HVAC, electrical, plumbing, and the roof. It's all of those things, okay? So the inspector comes and looks and see, what type of unit it is, how old, what's the life left on it. And that report just shows the insurance company if your home is eligible for coverage with them. So it doesn't necessarily have an impact or a direct correlation with the premium. It's just more so for eligibility, right? So if that report comes back and it's like, oh, this water heater hasn't been changed in 20 years, well, your home isn't eligible for most companies, right? So then it gives us an opportunity to then go back to the homeowner and say, hey, by chance, are you thinking about changing your water heater because this is going to be an issue? Now, can we maybe find another carrier but then also it's going to reflect on the price, right? So there's always companies that are willing to take home pretty much under most conditions that might not be favorable, but there is going to be a cost factor there that might not be favorable to the homeowner. But those are the two inspections.
Okay. I want to switch gears here when it comes to the actual claims process itself now. We see so many times in the roofing industry when it comes to actual damage on a roof, or it could be damage inside the house. Some homeowners are approved right away, and then another homeowner with that same exact damage is turned down. Why is there
by the same company or just two different companies?
It could be the same company or different companies. I know we have third-party inspectors, we have inspectors from the company itself. But if there is a set of guidelines that insurance companies are supposed to follow, why aren't those guidelines followed for everybody?
I know I'm going to sound like a broken record, but now I'm going to use a new term that means the same thing. You have to be your own advocate, right? And anything in life, right? These are still humans that we are dependent on to come and evaluate the situation. Sometimes they have extensive amount of experience, right? And sometimes they don't, So I always tell my clients, if you're in a situation of a claim that you feel is a legitimate claim, because sometimes there are things that are called in that are truly not a legitimate claim, right? And that is not what we're talking about. We're talking about the situation when it's there, right? The evidence is there that this should be a covered situation, but you might not be getting the response or the answer, either whether it's not in a timely manner or the communication is just not existing, or you have to be your own advocate. You got to keep pushing, you got to call, you got to complain, you got to say, hey, what is happening? I need answer, I need to understand, I need you to show me, I need where.
And should they be doing this with their agent, or should they be doing this with the desktop underwriter? Yeah,
so what happens is in insurance, and we have to educate our clients a lot on this. We are licensed separately, right? So claim adjusters, they have their own license, same as we have our own different license, and they don't really go together. Okay, so when you're calling your agent and they're constantly transferring you back to the claims department, because that is the way it is designed, right? So we can go over coverages with you, your deductibles, things that are not included. But when it comes down to the bottom line, like when they're assessing the cause, that is outside of our realm. Like that is outside of our expertise, our teaching, our licensing. So we're always going to say, always deal with the claim department, deal with the adjuster. Now, what I tell my clients, and this may not be what every agency does, I always say, if once you have given the proper timing, right? Like you have given it enough time to kind of do what it's supposed to, like it's a fair chance, right? Now you called, you're claiming for the first time today, and then by Friday they didn't call you back. Now you're calling the we haven't given proper time for it to kind of take its course. But you've already done that, and you're either not getting responded, you're not being communicated with, you don't know what's happening, call the agent, right? Because even though we cannot get involved in the details of it, we can let them know, listen, what is happening? Why is my client calling me that they haven't heard from you guys in a few weeks, right? Why don't they know the next steps to follow, or what's coming, or why? And then we become now the advocate for the client to say, we need answers. Who is the adjuster? What's their phone number? Call me back. And we start to create a little bit of urgency for our homeowners, but we still can't get into the weeds of it, but we can help in the process. Like I know I've had times when we've had clients that might not be too electronically savvy, and they're now responsible for uploading pictures and all of that. If they're local enough, I get in my car and I go and I help in that process. I can't make no promises, I can't get into it, but I can help facilitate if it's just an issue of, I don't really know how to do all this, Minerva. Like, I don't have an email account. You know, we have clients that legitimately don't have the means of communicating with an adjuster after the adjuster has already left the site. So you have to be your own advocate. I know it's like a broken record today. You have to get to the bottom line and push until you get the answers that you want, or at least put them in a position to have to really articulate it in a way that you can understand. Because that's one of the things too. You know, they'll send these reports and I'm like, I'm an agent and I can't really decipher what the response is. Are you saying, no, you're not covering? Yes, you are covering it. Yes, you're covering it. Under what conditions? Like, what are you saying in this, 12, 20 page report? And kind of just really say, no, they need a proper phone call, review the report with them so that if they're not understanding, they could continue to ask some questions until they get, because at the end of the day, that is owed to the homeowners. That is owed. Right? We're the professionals, we're the experts, but at the end of the day, we still have to be able to explain it in a way that a homeowner can understand. That way they don't feel like, oh, the insurance company's just picking on me, or the insurance company just doesn't want to help me, but really trying to get that homeowner to understand.
Do you think that homeowners should have help if they don't understand the claims process? Do you think they should have help, get help, or do you think that it's okay to do it on their own as the homeowner?
No. Absolutely. Go get the help. If you're not getting the information the way that you need, and I mean, when getting help, you have to still be you have to be paying attention too, because we've had a lot of homeowners that go and get help from the wrong people. Those people got paid for a brand new roof or a brand new, garage or whatever the case is, and the client never got it. We literally had that situation about 2 years ago. We're telling the client that, look, he's not eligible with a certain carrier because he has a claim, blah, blah, blah. This client, he's like, no, they never paid that. They never paid that claim. I had to take care of it on my own. And the more I looked into it, I was like, oh my gosh, we have a situation. The company did pay. And unfortunately, that homeowner never saw that. So yes, get help, ask questions, right? I know with our agency, we try to, if we sometimes feel like, hey, this might have been like a wear and tear situation, right? They're telling you, they've shown you pictures that there's no hail damage, there's no blah, blah, blah. Then we're gonna refer them to someone like Marcus to say, Marcus, can you go and look at this person's roof and just kind of give them a second pair of eyes, right? And see what you can work out with them, or kind of maybe get them to understand that maybe that wasn't claim worthy and it just truly is just time for a replacement. But absolutely, you have to get help. You have to get help.
Is there any last words that you want to let the audience know when it comes to insurance, the claims process, shopping insurance, or their bill in general?
Pay attention to your renewal. That should be something that's actually on your calendar more now than ever. Okay, pay attention to that. Get your agent to explain your coverages, your discounts that you're getting, the discounts that you are not eligible for, but it might just be simple things that you have to do to be able to get it. Like, take your time to try to get an understanding. I know in our experience, it's like two extremes, right? We have the homeowner that wants to be educated, and we gravitate towards that because it makes our lives so much easier when you give us an opportunity to go over coverages, give you options properly, And then the other extreme is you're just concerned with that bottom line number. And that makes us very, very nervous, because that is usually the client that wants everything stripped off their policy and, oh, I don't care about this part and I don't care about that. And then now something happens and they're the ones hollering through the roof. Why didn't you explain it better? And it's like, you're not working with us in a way to give us the proper time. You're calling last minute for a reshop, like today your policy expired. It's just not, it always ends up not being good for the consumer. So give yourself time to, and I'm gonna tell you, most companies are sending out renewals 30, 60 days, sometimes even more than 60 days out. So there is no reason why we should be getting calls the day of or 2, 3 days. It doesn't give us time to make a recommendation for a win-mint or a 4-point or getting all of the prop, like your copy of your prior, so that we could actually access where you are. Do you like these coverages the way that they were? Like, it's not enough time to do it properly. So pay attention to the renewal, have the conversations, take the time. It's once a year to just have the conversation. Hey, has anything changed? Is there any other companies that are available right now that might be a good fit for my home? Ask the questions, When it comes to claims, I'm gonna say, number one, understand your deductibles. Many times we have clients calling in claims and then they find out, well, the claim doesn't even surpass your deductible, nothing gets paid. And that actually is a negative reporting, because now, sadly, what happens is it puts us in a situation where next year rates went up on your renewal and we want to put you with a new company. We have to explain to the new company why you filed a claim last year that didn't get paid. So now guess what? A lot of times homeowners will just say, oh, that I took care of it myself. Nope, now they want the proof, because they don't want to inherit a problem that happened on another policy. So now they want receipts, they want pictures. And then the client, they get upset because they're like, well, they didn't even pay for this, or I took care of it myself. Why do I have to? You want someone now to provide you coverage on your home. That is the insurance companies doing their due diligence. Did this problem really get taken care of? Or has it just been prolonged, and then now we're gonna be on the hook to fix it a year or two from now when it continues to become a problem, right?
So when homeowners actually do a claim and they get money for that claim and they do nothing at all or something outside of the scope that the insurance companies paid for, what happens?
In most cases, with most claims, especially if they're like over $8,000, $10,000, we're gonna get a lot of questions asked. They always wanna know, was it resolved? Was it taken care of? Where are the receipts? Where are the pictures that it's been addressed, right? So it's not as simple as it used to be where, okay, that was a claim and they just assume that the homeowner took care of it. Now they want proof. They want proof that it was taken care of, especially if, like, the insurance company paid for a re-roof, but in our application, we don't have that roof has been changed. Oh, that's a red flag immediately. Yeah. In most cases, it's not going to be eligible for coverage, because not only did you not take care of it, but you're sending now a message of being irresponsible, right? So the insurance company just not going to want to take that risk. Yeah. And I explain this to all homeowners. All these insurance companies are private companies. Like, they don't have to insure your home. Like, there is nothing that forces any one insurance company to have to take it. Even with Citizens, there's been times where there's houses that they're not willing to insure. It is your due diligence to keep your house up to date, keep it. You're the one that's asking for the insurance company to protect you in case something happens. Yeah. Well, they only gonna want to do that with homeowners that they feel are taking care of their property, right? That's why they don't want to see a bunch of debris and, construction material still in your yard of something that you probably fixed 6 months ago. They're paying attention more now than ever. People are like, what does that got to do with them? That is just telling of the homeowner.
Yeah. Well, this has been certainly informative, Minerva.
Oh my goodness. Thank you so much.
You're a walking insurance encyclopedia.
Thank you. And I'm trying to get better and better every single day. I love talking about insurance. I love helping people. I love protecting people's assets. And it's exciting to me. Like, I am still truly enjoying this journey.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. How can the people get in contact with you? What's the best way to contact you or Numero Uno Insurance?
It's so funny. When I named the business Numero Uno, I never realized how easy it is to just be like, Numero Uno. And you could just look that up. Truly, there is no other Numero Uno Insurance out there. So at any point that you just put Numero Uno Insurance, it'll just come up on Google. Enjoy our reviews. We are definitely loved by our clients, and it makes us feel just amazing. But on social media, on Instagram, again, just Numero Uno Insurance. My name is Minerva Ferrer, and the phone number is 407-880-7283. And we're just always here and available, doing what we love best is helping people.
All right. Thank you so much.
This was awesome.
All right.
Thank you, Marcus. Thank you.